Hello, howdy everyone, Starzy here, Deepwoken in general, that's what we're talking about today, and I'm gonna be honest for a second, I've been struggling to even sit down, open up Audacity, OBS, and even record this video. Like, recently, Deepwoken has just been for me, and this isn't starting with like the newest weekly update. It was like when Haul Time was almost over and they added relics, which, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, ever since I started playing, Deepwoken has always had, or has been, a really hard game. There was always something. It's like, if there's a new item release, there's going to be something you have to do for it. If there's a new boss to the game, you're going to have to learn that boss. And with the release of getting Relics for Joy, even though that's gone now, that still felt a little too easy, even for this game. Like, we're talking about the same game where to get some of the best legendary weapons in the game, Kier's medallions, even an entire oath, is hidden behind a layer 2 boss. Yet, we can get all of the relics and some of the stuff the layer 2 boss can drop simply just by hiding on top of a tree and throwing pumpkins for like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, however long Gourd Skipper usually lasts. And even so, the new weekly update added, guess what, another legendary weapon, and yet again, another weekly meta. You know how Deepwoken loves its weekly metas. And that's actually something I want to talk about. For the longest time, I said, oh, Deepwoken is getting ruined by weekly updates. Oh, Deepwoken probably isn't going to be doing that good, or the next update isn't going to be that amazing or spectacular, or come out of broken stage due to the fact it's a weekly update. And I still full-heartedly believe that. Like, don't get me wrong, I think weekly updates were a great thing for the game when Layer 2 first released, and a little while after that, simply because we were getting content every single week instead of every single blue moon. And even so, I didn't mind that we were getting a new update every single blue moon or every single other month, simply because the content we had in the game was fun and enjoyable. However, with the weekly updates we get nowadays, it just kind of feels like, Like, it always feels like there's going to be something cool, there's going to be something bad, doesn't matter, it's always going to come out in a broken or unbalanced state. So people are always going to pick it up, or nobody's going to pick it up, or somebody's going to find some obscure use for this that completely changes the game, and then everyone picks it up, except the players who are new or don't know better. That is basically what every single weekly update has been up to now. Basically, new week comes out, everyone's going to use that weapon. Next week comes out, everyone's going to use that weapon or item. Next week comes out, it's a balance update. Whoop-de-doo, everyone's just going to switch to a different weapon. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Like, in my opinion, weekly updates have been a problem for the game. Like, they've been a problem for the game for a while, at least ever since Pyrekeeper came out. Like, yes, there were some, like, iffy updates before then, but, like, I feel like since Pyrekeeper, updates have just been getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, there have been some good updates, like Bloodrend release, but point I'm trying to make is, weekly updates are turning into a bad thing for the game. They're releasing things in broken states, they're releasing new overpowered items that haven't been tested or balanced, or at the very least, feel like they haven't been tested or balanced, and I feel like that's simply because of one simple reason. The developers are not focusing on conquest as much as they should have, but still are focusing a lot of attention onto it. What I'm trying to say is, Deepwoken wants to get its next big update out there. It's clear, they like teased Conquest a long while back, and we still haven't gotten Conquest. Like, they want to release Conquest, however, their main focus is releasing that next weekly update, because they already promised they will release an update every week. And congrats to the dev team, they have been doing that very well. However, because of the fact they're focusing on getting weekly updates out, and they need content for those weekly updates, and to my knowledge, there's not as many developers working hard on the game. I mean, there's still a lot of developers working on the game, but not as much as there was in the, like, beginning of Deepwoken. That's kind of taking a toll on the quality of the updates, the balance of the updates. And what's really funny is that there's one simple solution here. Stop doing weekly updates. Now, I know the community's probably gonna hold me at stake, freaking crucify me for saying such a sinis thing. Is sinis a word? Disastrous? I'm not sure what the word is. Such a heinous thing. There we go. But look at, like, a lot of the problematic updates, and just stop for a second, sit back and think, what if this was actually balanced? What if they actually took more time to actually balance this, to test this, to make sure it actually worked before it was released? Maybe the game would be more optimized. Now, I'm willing to blame Roblox for part of the issue. However, a lot of other games have like a lot more stuff in them, or just as much stuff as Deepwoken, yet run perfectly fine. And when I mean stuff, I mean how big the world is and how many NPCs are moving around. People say Type Soul, however, I don't play Type Soul, so I can't say that for certain. Hell, I've played role-playing games back in like 2015 with much bigger maps and heavier models than I did Deepwoken, and it still is better optimized. And again, it was a role-play game instead of an actual game, so maybe a bad example. Getting off topic again, point is, if the Deepwoken devs stop focusing on weekly updates and instead focus more on, I don't know, a monthly update, or just doing what they did in verse 1, where they just release an update every now and again. It's just a bigger update because there's more stuff to add. Like when they randomly added Vision Shaper to the game. Yeah, Vision Shaper wasn't a weekly update. They just randomly dropped that one day. That was amazing. God, I remember the good days of Deepwoken where just like when Vision Shaper first released, it took around 3 days before all the information of Vision Shaper started coming out, like how to obtain it and all of that. And I was still new at the game. I was still trying to get used to fighting golems, let alone owls. Anyways, back on topic. I do full-heartedly believe we need to get rid of weekly updates. If developers still want to do some sort of updates every now and again, either do semi-weekly, so you can release the same amount of content, or just like same amount of content as weekly updates, but they come in a more balanced and better state, as well as allowing you to better balance the game and release those balance changes, well, you know, to better the game. Or do monthly updates, or just update the game whenever you want, like a few months apart, or like 2 months, 3 months, whatever. Like, you're gonna be able to add a lot more content that way, but also release a lot more content that's balanced that way. I don't know, I'm just like rambling here. I'm just trying to give solutions. I am not a game developer nor a game tester, so I have no idea how you would balance Deepwoken or like fix a lot of Deepwoken's problems. This is just the first thing that comes to my mind. Anyways, that's about all I have to say. But please tell me what y'all think. How would you like fix this problem that Deepwoken has with weekly updates? Like, at least to me, the problem is weekly updates and the balancers not being able to properly balance the game, and developers not properly adding to or being able to add the right amount of content in a balanced state. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm a bit sick. And I'm still bad at outros.